Hey world, Dolphin Doug in Juneau. Let's say you hiked out to the Nugget Falls and you're thinking about going back the scenic route because it's an out and back trail right here. This is the trail back. There's the Mendenhall Glacier back there. But I'm just enjoying myself. I've seen it. I'm in a hurry because I got a cruise ship that's waiting for me and maybe a tour. Well, I'm going to show you the route that you probably shouldn't take unless you're dressed like me. Okay? Extra toughs. Now, this is end of October. It's 36 degrees. And it's been raining. So the water levels are a little bit high. We do have some icebergs out there. Let's just say, you're a little adventurous. You did this trail. You looked at your watch. You still have a little bit of extra time. You say, I'm going to take the low road. The high road is what you took. If you will look at my last video I just made on the hike to Nugget Falls or something like that, then you're going to see it's an easy trail. It took me 21 minutes. But I was jaw jacking and I went off and looked at the creek and I showed you some different trails, and you can easily do this. I mean, you're going to have a hard time going any faster than that. But it's a 15-minute walk if you're power walking. And most of the tours that come out here give you an hour. So let's say you're thinking, I want to do the scenic route. I'm enjoying this trail. I've done this. All this stuff is cool. But I want something new. I'm going to take you on the new trail. It's the low road. The one down by the lake. It's got to be better, right? It's going to have ice and big vistas and all that. Well, all that's true. But you better be wearing extra tops. So there are 4 seasons in Alaska. Rain, road construction. We just finished the road construction season. And it never really stopped in the middle of it, but we had some good sunshine. But this weather I'm walking in, this is the key ingredient. You can bring an umbrella if you want. Nobody in Juneau carries an umbrella. You will stand out as a tourist. We don't care, because at times it's an intelligent move to make. And I love these leaf trails. There's something to do with flooding. I cannot figure it out. I don't know what's going on, but there are multiple ones. Something weird. If anybody can figure out what that is, please leave a comment. And hey, if you have any questions while you're watching this video that you want me to answer about Juneau or Alaska in general, why don't you post a comment while you're watching this and tell me what you're interested in that I can maybe answer. I've lived in Juneau since 1993. Okay. If you're coming, that's a dead end. Don't go that way because this is the easiest trail. There are lots of footprints up that way because at lower water levels, then you can sneak right by all these bushes. But you don't want to be messing with these bushes most of the time. That's how you get wet really quick, by brushing up against wet brush. Now, I am in particular hunt for an iceberg, a little one that I can drag ashore. Whether I can get that or not, I don't know. But that's what I'm doing, scouring these beaches. The second thing I'm looking for, is that an iceberg? Sure looks like a rock to me, but maybe. Whoa, there's one on shore. See how cool this is? Hey, yeah. Oh, man. This is what it's about. So this is a wonderful trail, but you need those extra toughs. That little bit of water I hit, that's not the worst of it. There are a couple of big creeks that I'm going to have to wade through. But my extra toughs will make it, no problem. Now, the other thing is, in the summertime, we have Arctic terns that nest up here. And much of this beach line, I haven't been on it in years, because they'll put up little barriers. They don't want us to harass the Arctic terns. So this beach right here, if you're in the middle of summer, you probably won't get to. But if you were trying to get to a lot of the beach you can get to. And if this is cool to you, it's cool to me. How it could not be cool to you, I have no idea. There's the Mendenhall Glacier. There's Nugget Falls coming down. It's the end of October, so the snow line is low. You can't see the top of the mountain. The tree line is maybe 2,500 feet. And this is that's a 4,200 foot tall mountain. This iceberg out here, it looks like it's high and dry. The lake is not very deep, because the way it works is, see, getting off the beaten path can be tricky. I don't care, but you might. And if it's not you, it's the other people in your party. And if you've got other slow movers in your party and you go this way, or even mention this route to them and they come this way, you're gonna get in trouble with your bus driver when you get back to the bus and you're telling them to wait up for Aunt Freda, who tends to take it forever to look at everything. On top of that, there's a very significant chance that you will come up to some object, some place. You're not going to get lost here. I mean, stay away from the ice and you'll be all right. You've got the visitor center up there on the hill. That's where we're headed. We got the lake on one side. But if you don't like wading through water, you might come up to an obstacle and say, I need to turn around, and it might eat up a lot of your time. So this is not for Aunt Freda. Now, this is a dogs off leash area. I've never heard the rules one way or the other, but a lot of Juneau people bring their dogs out here and they run around. Good way to see them as wildlife. I met one earlier. Very quick visit. It wasn't very exciting to me. But then again, the owner said that he had rolled in poo, so maybe that was all for the best. Now, see what I'm talking about here? And this mud here I'm walking on, it might or might not be super slippery. It is totally good now, so I'm not worried about it. All right. Easy peasy. Not a big deal. Now, one thing to know is if you come up here in May, this trail is going to be marvelous. Because May is dry, all these little creeks are very low flow, and the lake level will be 4 feet or so lower. And so you can walk right along the beach. It's a long walk to walk along the beach, but then you can make it across these places real easy. And this is nice. I'm guessing the Forest Service stuck this out here recently because it didn't used to have those rocks. If I didn't have my extra stuff, so it's no problem stepping rock to rock. It'd be super easy. Love to do it, just didn't feel like doing it right now. Yeah, so this is Juneau. This is what you see. Oh, bald eagle. Come on, little guy. See him? This isn't eagle country right here. There's nothing to eat right here. This lake is empty. And eagles, bald eagles, are fish eaters. That's 98% of what they eat is fish. Your golden eagles down south are hunters. They eat rabbits and stuff smaller than that. But completely different. I mean, they're both eagles. They're both magnificent, almost the same size, but completely different ecological niche, behavior patterns, etc. So yeah, if you were here in the summer, it might be 10 degrees warmer and you'd be perfectly happy. It might be 15 degrees warmer and you'd be hot. 50s in Juneau are magnificent. It might be drizzling just like this. We get 60 inches of rain in Juneau, which is the same that Florida gets, Central Florida. But Florida is hot and it runs right through the sand and disappears. Alaska is cold and nothing evaporates and it hits the rock and just flows. So we're wet, wet, wet. It's been wet forever. Floods aren't really a problem, although they occasionally will knock a tree down and take out a house or two. But today, I doubt it's going to register more than just a trace of rain because it's just not that wet. My hands aren't getting wet. My jacket is not waterproof. Don't care. I'm going to get in a car And I have heat in my car, and I have air conditioning in my car to dry out the air. And I've got it in my house. I've got heat in my house. Everything dries out. It's easy to live in this little bit of damp, wet. Now, if I had taken this peninsula out here, it's a one-way trip. If you're coming in on a cruise ship, you've got limited time. This sign out here, I can't read it, but I'm sure it says bird nesting habitat. I'm not going to mess with it. Now, this is the second part, second trail that you have to get past. And this is where you might say, oh, I can find a better way to get across. And you might be able to. But there's a reason the trail goes here. You want to dress for the weather. Now, if your shoes get wet on your cruise ship, are they going to have boot dryers? Probably not. That's a joke. So, there you go. If you get a like into Juneau, if you want to come up here, I'd love to have you subscribe. It makes the YouTube search algorithm work better, so more people will find my videos, and I can show this off. Now, the reason I do this, and this is mud. I don't like mud very much. See those rocks up there on that little peninsula? I like those rocks. So if you're wearing sneakers, see, I'm starting to slip a little bit. Ain't no big deal. But I like these rocks. I could get my mud out of my boots. There we go. There's a tire track 6 inches under in that ice from a bicycle. No problem. Someone wants to ride their bike out here? No problem. So, I do whale watch tours. Not on this lake. There are no whales in here. There are no fish in here. But, and these logs, aren't these logs pretty impressive? Yeah, I think these have been hauled out here by people. There haven't been trees out here. Either that, or you know what? This could be a fossilized log. It could be 150, 200 years old. I bet that's the case. It came out of the glacier. I'm not kidding about this. And I don't pretend to be the world's expert in anything, but I have messed around up at the glacier, and there are logs just like this that have come out and been exposed as the glacier is receding past. I would bet that's where those logs are from, and I bet nobody's thought of coming up here and carbon dating them. I don't think they're that old. I think the glacier has only been, it moves, it expands and contracts on a regular basis. Those trees might only be 150 years old, but they could be 5,000 years old. Wow. Yeah. I just thought of that right now. That's kind of cool. I think I need to go make a short on a fossilized log, the fossilized logs of Mendenhall Lake. Is it real? This is one of the things I play with my kids. I'd make up these extravagant stories. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Can you see that? Another beautiful iceberg stranded up there, right behind that sign. Love those icebergs you can touch. So I'd make up stories with my kids. I'd say something I just couldn't, it wasn't completely unbelievable. And they just listen. And so I'd make a bigger story, and they just listen. And finally, after 15 minutes of letting it sit and everybody seemed to believe what I said, guys, that was a tall tale. You got to challenge me on this. So now I have my beloved Aurora. She's number 3, my youngest daughter. And she always says, is that true? Well, and my deal with her is, when she asks that question, there's no tall tale involved. So from the bottom of my heart to my little Aurora, if she ever watches this, I really believe those trees are fossilized. It doesn't mean they're all that old. They're still wood, but they are hundreds. They have been dead and buried by the glacier for hundreds of years. This is cool. This fresh growth. This is spruce. Very, very prickly. I'm still working on my camera angles. Can you see that? Yeah. If I were to rub that the other way, these things hurt. Spruce. Sitka spruce. Wonderful wood. A little rough to deal with the needles all the time. These things, you think, look at this. Doesn't this look like land of Christmas trees? Right? You're thinking Christmas trees, no problem whatsoever. Well, for one thing, Forest Service doesn't let you cut Christmas trees here. Spruce, Christmas trees are horrible little things. They're spindly as all get out when you get them home. They're nothing like what you've got down south, your beautiful firs. So, yeah. Okay, so it's 3 creeks you got to cross. The middle ones, probably the first one's the worst, and that's good. So if you're going back, you're gonna be getting your feet wet, and I am 50 yards from the trailhead here. Now, at the lowest tide level, or it's lowest, the driest time of the year is in May and maybe June, when it hasn't been raining for a week and the sun's been shining. I just gotta say this. This is a lucky rock. See the white stripe all the way, or whitey stripe all the way through it? When you come to Juneau, here, see? It's got to go all the way around, and it's a lucky rock. I should be looking for a lucky rock. I should try to do that every hike. Anyway, you can have those if you want them, except the Forest Service probably say otherwise. Seriously, I'm betting those logs are fossilized. Nobody's thought of it. I mean, maybe they have. Yeah. I mean, that's you know, I'm trying to think of what a scientist would do with, they've got tree ring data from 5,000 years ago, maybe. I mean, they're going to know with carbon dating, you could date things to 5,000 years within like a 20-year span. It's really accurate at short times. Oops. Oh, well. Maybe that's only past here. This has been a no-leash zone as long as I've been here. Of course, lots of people bring dogs out with leashes too, but there are a couple trails like this. I guess there are rules, and then there's the way that we live. So that's it. I'm back on the main trail. If you're thinking of doing the alternate route, please do. I guess I don't even know if I finished my plug. I got distracted by something. But I do whale watches here in the summer. Dolphin Doug, come look me up on the internet, book a tour. I'll take care of you. I got a couple of boats and I got a couple of employees I got to feed. And so it'd be really nice to get some little bit of business. So there's my shameless plug. Enjoying my beautiful, you know, isn't it supposed to be if you're an Alaskan, you live in Alaska, but if you're a smart Alaskan, you spend your winters down south? Yeah, something like that. Well, I'm here. I'm wanting to travel, and I haven't booked my tickets yet, but I will. But if the question is, what do we do in the wintertime? I guess we finally get to take those walks and not run into a bunch of folks. What else do we do in the wintertime? Make videos? Try to get more people to come out with us? Something like that. Now, one thing to know is what's really nice, now that we're away from the waterfall, I'm hearing the rain trickling off the trees. Oh my gosh. My brain can think in rain, but waterfall noise is hard. Now, this is kind of interesting. You see this slick and slide right here? You see the moss over there? No moss here. What that tells me is either bears or people going up and down this rock. And literally, it could be either one. They're not going up this way very often, although I do seem to see scratch marks. There's a chance that a bear has gone up and down that hill. More likely than not, they come down and then they take the trail. So if you hike this trail, you may come across a bear going along the other direction. I'd recommend you give them right of way. Bears are mild. They're not causing trouble. They're just using the trail just like you are. They don't like you to get too close to them. So enjoy the walk, enjoy the view, take lots of pictures of that thing. But give them room so they can step off the trail and give you room. Yeah. Now, see these trees showed up after the glacier left. There's nobody been cutting out here. This has been Forest Service property. And yeah, the Forest Service does cut trees, but this is the beautiful, the landmark, the busiest spot that the Forest Service has in the whole United States. Their highest revenue generator, something like that. And look at the size of these trees. Remember the size of those logs? Those things dwarf these things, and they've been dead for a while. Could they possibly? I mean, I know the whole coastline of the lake. Yeah, the far end, they're bigger trees, but they'd have a hard time coming over here. The wind doesn't blow this way. There you go. Nugget Falls. Here's what we did. So beach access. So the trail stays back on the back, and I hug the edge. But it's not real. It's not real. There isn't this big of a beach. There isn't this big of a beach. You saw what you have to do if you want to do that. So stay warm and dry. Come on up to Juneau. And wear extra tufts, of course.